Hello there everyone and welcome back to True Crime and Justice. Yes, I've been off for 5 days, but 3 of them are Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. I wasn't very well. So, and then Saturday I had the whole family over because my daughter and her partner, who was supposed to come either Wednesday or Thursday to do the fence, which I'm quite glad they didn't because I wasn't feeling too great, came Saturday. And then my son come over with my other 2 grandkids. I'm thinking, this is going to take all day because the kids are ringing out. So, anyway, hello Michelle. How are you? Hi Anne. But I'm glad to be back. I was just feeling, I don't know what it was, Wednesday. I knew I wouldn't be on Wednesday because I did say I wasn't coming on Wednesday. But for some reason, I just felt so tired all the time. Wednesday and Thursday, I was just feeling so tired. I saw something today about storms hitting the UK. Somewhere in the UK, don't know where. I just saw something about the UK storms. So I don't know where they're hitting. But yeah, so now I finally got my fence up at the front of my... So when you come up my driveway now, there's actually a fence and a gate, and it's not all open. So you can't just walk straight up into my back door or straight into my garden. So it's weird because for like, what, 9, 10, 10 months, I've lived here with no fence or gate there. So now to see a fence and gate there, it's weird. But the other week, I was given a pile of wood panels, and I'm not joking. My neighbour brought them round, and it's like a week before. And I didn't see him bring them round, and my grandson went out to play in the garden. He said, Gran, where's all this wood come from? I thought, what's he on about? I looked, and there's stacks of it. I went, Ryan did say he had some wood panels at his, but I didn't think he had that much. Then my neighbour Robert popped his head over the fence and said, that was me. I went, wow, well, thank you. I said, you just saved me a lot of money there. Really has saved me a lot of money. And the panels that are left over are going over to my son's so that he can build a fence like mine. Because for some reason in Scotland, when they put fences up, they leave like a gap between each panel. I don't like that. You got no privacy in your garden when you got gaps between the panels, you know what I mean? No privacy at all. So, and when they've done my front fence, they put the panels panel to panel. So no one can peek through or anything. So my son's going to do the same, because what happened when the people who lived in his house before, they had a caravan. So they brought the garden fence up nearer the back end of the house so they could fit the caravan in there. And my son wanted that area for the trampoline to go in. So he's going to redo the fence, right, and put the post in and redo it like they've done on mine. Put the gate in. You know what, Michelle? I haven't been out to the shops. I really haven't. I haven't been out. So I've just been really tired the past 3 days. Out of the 5 days, I've been really, really tired. And then Saturday coming, I felt a bit better. So when all the family converged on me, plus I was having dinner doing tea for my son and his wife and the grandkids Saturday. So they come over. My daughter-in-law come over about 4ish, and they was eating about 7:30ish. So that wiped me out again. So yesterday I just, yeah, right. My grandson stopped Saturday night. Thankfully, he was good as gold. Right, and he'd go up in the morning, and I'd give him his breakfast, and then he was in and out the garden. Because on Saturday, I was fed up at the back door being left open, and I have 2 cats which I like to keep in. Well, on Saturday, the door was getting left open all the time, and I was having to keep chasing Toby up the garden and bring him back in. So in the end, I think, you know what? Fuck it. I'm letting them stay out. They can come out. If they want to come out, they can come out. So Toby came out and he was up the back of the garden, just being mischievous up the back end of the garden. Bobby came out and just sat by the back doorstep. And then on Sunday, he was out and come a bit further out. He went round by the bins, round there. And then today, he's been up the top end of the garden, playing with his brother. And they both got collars on. So now I've just got to get appointments at the vet to get them chipped. That's going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I've got to get them chipped now. Do you think have anyone to function to? I tell you, that jar's getting quite full. It's really getting quite full. I know I've got about £25 in there in notes, because I've been putting £5 in notes in and things like that. And I don't know how much I've got in loose change in there. Yeah, so if you've got storms coming your way, please be safe. Hunker down. Shut your windows, make sure your doors are all locked securely and your windows are all locked securely. Go to any safe place in the house if it's that bad a storm. Just do it. I was thinking the only safe place I've got in this house where there's no windows, right, is a little hallway that leads you to the bathroom and the 2 bedrooms. I'd have to just hunker down in there if it's really, really bad winds. You know what I mean? I think I'd be tempted to do what the Spanish do as well, go round with tape and crisscross my windows with tape. So that if the winds do shatter it or whatever, or the rain or the hail shatters it shatters it and it doesn't break the glass in. I'd be tempted to do that, but we don't have that bad winds. We get strong winds up here, but not that bad. If I had to swear jar, I'd be able to run space program twice. Well, my grandson found my swear jar, didn't he? I had it in this cupboard, in my wardrobe on a shelf. And he only found it. I said, will you stop poking your nose into my wardrobe and my cupboards and my drawers and everything? I hide nothing from you. He went, what is this, all this money for, Gran? I went, not for you. Well, it's been so weird because it's been like a month now, coming up to a month now. Another week or so, and it's been a month that I've been in this house on my own. I'd only ever done, 1 or 2 nights at the most on my own in this house when I first moved in. But I've done a month and it's been great. I've been going to bed. I've been sticking to my ruling. I've been going to bed by about 12 o'clock-ish because I know I start getting tired by 12 p.m. Right. Midnight live. So I go to bed and I'm getting up I'm getting up earlier. I'm actually getting about 9 a.m. 8:30, 9 a.m. which is good. But, yeah. Found my swear jar. My son said, I thought you'd have had it filmed by now. I went, what the fuck? I don't talk about certain persons so much, but we are back on that topic tonight because we are looking back into Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and his parents, if you want to call it, apart from his dad. I call Seth his dad, his parents. If you want to give him that name, his parents, which is KP and CP, right, you can go. So I got a big question. Do you really think the Darwins' best parents are in who the Darwins? Do you really think the Darwins' best parents are in Maryland? Who the fuck are we talking about, Michelle? Do you really think the Darwins' best parents are in Maryland? I don't even know what you're on about. Kylie sent me left me a comment on one of my videos. The last video just posted. I only just uploaded that video done last Tuesday today. I haven't been online at all. You know what I mean? I saw the pics and I don't believe it was Darwin's. Who are we talking about? The Darwins. Darwin's best parents. I don't know who you're talking about, Michelle. So I wouldn't like to know. So, or have I missed something with the Sebastian ROGERS? I have been trying to keep up to date. I know Mob Crew's put a couple of videos out. So I'm going to. I was going to watch them today, but I was pottering about around the house doing things like washing, the mundane things like washing. Oh, the dumbest. Oh, sorry, I'm about yeah. So, do you really think the Darwin's best? Are they supposed to be in Maryland, are they? I don't know. Because isn't that something that Mob Crew was talking about? I did see a thumbnail and a title for something. How they was living somewhere else. We know they're not at the house. We know they are not in Stafford Court. We know that much. Because they rent it out to a junkie. Darwin person said we came from Apes. What? I'm not going to argue that thing because that does not surprise me when they say we came from apes. Because when you look at apes and then, you know what I mean? And then you look at man, you go up in the stages, apes to the caveman, stone age men and all that lot. It would not surprise me. But then if that's true, then it throws the theory of Jesus Christ and all that lot. And I'm not getting into that. I am not getting into any of that lot. So we'll just stick with that. People came from apes, okay? I do love bananas. I don't. I heave. I literally, I've tried eating them. I really have. It's not the smell. It's not even the taste. It's the texture. And as soon as I bite into a banana, I'm like, ooh. I'm literally heaving. I can't eat them. However, you can buy them, like, you buy them in bags and you buy them dried. The dried bananas. Sliced bananas dried. I can eat them. But I cannot eat a banana. I can't. I have brought them for the kids before, and they've not wanted them, so I've sent them over to my son and daughter-in-laws, when I've took them home before. I'll draw a line. Oh my lord. No, because I have been thinking about Sebastian. Even though we've been covering the missing scientist and UFOs and all that lot for the past couple of weeks. I have still had Sebastian on my mind. Is it? You don't like pasta? Oh, there's certain, like, you get the shells, the pasta shells. I don't like them. I like spaghetti and I like the penne pasta and I like the macaroni. Right? I don't like the twirly pasta. I don't like them shell pastas. Just, I think they've got it's a taste with them. It's a taste. I don't like them. But I do like lasagna. I like my spaghetti and I like my lasagna, so I like the lasagna things and macaroni and my penne. And I also like my tagliatelle pasta. I was going to do some tagliatelle today, and what I do, I cook. I got a tub. You just buy a cheap soft cheese, just a cheapo one. And you put the whole lot. Well, no, first of all, you cook up some mushrooms, drain them off, dab them off, get the oil off from everything. Then you get a tub of soft cheese, drop it all into a pan, right? Heat that up, right? Then you add, like, I always add a bit of garlic to it and some mixed herbs or whatever to the soft cheese. So it's pointless buying the expensive one. It really is. Just buy the cheapo soft cheese and just drop the whole tub of it into a pan. Water it down, melt it, heat it up, add a little bit of water, right? Until you get to the texture you want, the thickness you want. And keep adding the water and adding, right? And then when you've got to the texture you want, you add your mushrooms, pop them in, and I'm not joking. That is the best mushroom and cheese sauce with tagliatelle. Honest to God, my daughter told me that. She did it once and I loved it. And I said, how do you do that tagliatelle thing with the cheese sauce? She just buy a tub of cheese, soft cheese, just a cheapo one. Add your own herbs and spices, whatever you want to add to it. Like, you can add red peppers to it if you wanted to, or green peppers, or you can cut up some bacon and add some bacon to it. You know what I mean? Add anything you want to that cheese sauce once you've got to the thickness you want it. And then once you've warmed it all through, just put it on top of your tagliatelle. Oh my lord. But I went to Asda, I had to go to Asda the other day. I did have to go. Even though I wasn't feeling up to it, but I did have to go because I had no food in. So I got a taxi up there and a taxi back, but it's only like £3 or £4 to get a taxi up there and £3 or £4 to get a taxi back. And I spent 140 something pounds in Asda. I hate it when I go to Asda because I dread seeing the total. You know what I mean? But I had nothing in my cupboards. I had no tin stuff, no pasta, no cheese, no ham, no bacon, no eggs, nothing. No, my freezer was flipping empty. So I had to go and buy a lot of frozen stuff. Right? So I think for what I got, 140 something pounds wasn't too bad. I got all my sandwich fillers and stuff like that. I don't like shopping, I really don't. And I'm to go on Thursday was not a good day because, as I said, I wasn't feeling too great. So I get home and I unpacked everything and then I just collapsed on the sofa. I thought, just leave me alone now. Please don't knock that fucking door. Anyone knocks that fucking door, I'm going to kill them. Who came a knocking? Oh, yeah, my son. Was it my son? No, it wasn't my son. It was my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter. Please. I'm like, wow, can you leave me alone? So, yeah. Anyway, so I was thinking about Sebastian, and I'm thinking, how is this case ever going to get solved? Right? How is this lad ever going to be found when we've got a law enforcement who don't give two fucks, right? Who have not called in all the necessary organisations that they could have. They haven't. We've got parents who continuously lie. That's not counting Seth. That's just two parents, right? You've got the parents then who are lining up with certain, what I call hate channels. Yeah, I think it was. I think it's just that I've been on the go, even when I've been doing a live in the daytime. I've been getting so much done. You know what I mean? And then I've got family coming up every day and things like that. Because they know I'm on my own now, they're coming up even more. So I think just leave me alone, please. Once a week. That's great. No, I do love seeing my family, I do. Well, you'll never get forgive. This is me, right? I go up Sunday, right? Now Ryan, my daughter's partner, right, said he did say on the Saturday, I'll be back tomorrow and I'll put some paint, like, do the panels for you, paint the panels. And I just said, yeah, okay, thank you, right? Off they go. And I didn't see his van pull up on my drive. So I've just done myself a bacon butty on Sunday. And I'm just sitting in the living room, just about to, I've just started eating it when I heard this, like, which at the time I didn't realise it was a grill. I did not realise it was a drill. What the fuck is that noise? I walked out into the kitchen. I'm thinking, please God, don't let it be my washing machine. Please don't let it be my fucking washing machine. And I stood there for about 10 seconds or so. I mean, that's a fucking drill. So I've gone out, and my son-in-law is, because when he put the panels up, he only put one screw in at the top and one screw in at the bottom and one in the middle. Right? So he's coming back to put an extra screw in the top, the middle, and the bottom of the panels, just to give it that bit more security. So I didn't realise he'd come back. And then I saw it about an hour later. I had to take my vacuum over to my daughter-in-law's because she likes to use mine for the stairs because it's the shark lift away. So you don't have to take the whole vacuum up. You can just take the little thing up. And she likes that for the stairs. So I took that over to her. But as I was going out, I've seen his car there, his truck there. I thought his truck is still there. But I can't hear the drill. Oh, he's probably talking to the neighbours next door. So I've gone to open the gate, and all of a sudden this hands come through because I've cut out a little panel in the gate that they made so that you can put your hand in to take the bolt off so you can get out. And to put the bolt across again to get in when you come out, sort of thing. So I'm just about to walk up to the gate when this hands come through the fence. Oh, for fuck's sake. I said, are you out to kill me today? He said, I'm just painting your vents. Just painting your vents. I mean, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Scare the life out of me. BHB is going to take IE Proudfoot back to court. So again, going to slow the case down. Why? Why is she taking them back to court? It doesn't make sense for her to take them back to court. I'm going to have to catch up with BHB, find out what's going on with her, because that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I know. So, yeah. So it was a bit of a scare the shit out of me, Dad. Anyway, so I thought, how are we ever gonna, how is, well, not, how are we going to, how is this case ever gonna be solved? As I said, you've got the parents, CPKP, teaming up with YouTube channels that are just out there to cause as much ish as possible. Right? They're the ones leaking all this information to them. They're the ones who leaked that information about the email that Seth sent them about the schools. Yeah? And made it look like Seth was the one who wanted to send Sebastian to this 24/7 schooling, boarding school, when it wasn't. It was them. He just sent them a list of other schools this woman had sent to him, which covered certain aspects that he wanted, like animal therapy and things like that. So they're the ones putting out this BS information to these channels, and then these channels go, oh, well, you never guess what, this has happened, this such and such said this and such and such. Yeah, well, we know where you're getting your information. It's like that other YouTuber who come in after about, 2 years? 18 months, 2 years? Can't think of his name. And everyone's raving about this YouTuber. So I went over to watch him. And I was listening to him. And he was talking about how he spoke to CP. And he got this information from CP. I went, nope, boom, turned it off. But because it's all BS. Whatever you get from CP as a YouTuber or whoever you are, it's BS. But I don't understand why it's... Yeah. But who's paying for this, you know what I mean? Tell me she's not crowdfunding again to get subscribers and whatever to help with it. Because if she's chose to do this, then she should pay for it herself. Infringement of her rights. I just drop it. I would just drop it. You know what I mean? Let it go. Just let it go. We know the truth, BH. You know what I mean? We know. We know you weren't in the wrong. She hadn't said anything threatening to him. She hadn't even seen them. Yeah. But if she's taking this on, starting this whatever up herself, to take them back to court, then she should be paying for it, really, shouldn't she? I can understand if they was taking her to court, then yeah, please help, get your subs to help you with your attorneys and whatever. But if you're planning to take them, then she should be paying. Because me, I'll be going, you know what, forget it, it's gone. I started hitting that when I got to about 40. When I got to 40, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, forget it, it's gone. When I got to 50, it's like, I don't give a shit no more. And now I'm 60, it's like, I don't give a flying fuck no more. Do and say what you want, because I know, you know what I mean? Retaliation. It's pointless. It's not gonna, I don't think it'll slow the case down, because the case of Sebastian can't go any slower than it is. It's at a stop already. So it isn't going anywhere because law enforcement aren't doing anything. The parents are, CP and KP are not doing nothing. Yeah, that's a bit like me. I I couldn't give two hoots about what people think about me, say about me. You don't. I'm not everyone. You're not put on this planet to be liked by everyone. You're not. There's going to be people who will not like me. They could think, oh, she's a bit harsh. You know what I mean? She's a bit gobby. She can be a bit foul-mouthed. Well, yeah, I can. Don't like it? There's the door. Walk on through it. Just walk on by. Because I won't change for no one. I did do, before I met my husband, I did change. Right? Because I was a gobby little fucker then. But I sat at home one night and thought, you know what? I'm not going to get nowhere in life with the attitude I've got. So I've dropped my attitude and I started becoming this little lady, this little woman who just sat in the corner and said, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir, sort of thing. Right? Met my husband and met his family. I was really polite. No F's coming out of my mouth at all then. Got married. And then a few F's started to come out. But then I did a course in a counselling course. Right? And when you go anything in counselling, to counsel someone as a counsellor, right? Someone comes to you, I've got marriage problems, right? You sit down and they talk to you, yeah? Well, before you can do anything like that, you've got to look at yourself. You've got to look at yourself. So, and it made me look at myself and I thought, you know what? I'm not being me. This is not me. Even my brother said it, right? When I first separated from my husband, I only had Simon at the time, he said, "This isn't Angela, Mum. We know Angela. This isn't her, right?" And it went like that for years, years and years. I was like that. But then when I did this college course, it made me look at myself and I thought, "This isn't me." And then it go, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I don't give a flying hoot no more what you think about me. I don't care. Drop dead if you want. I don't care. You know what I mean? So that was me, and that's how I've stayed. And it's like when the true me started coming out, like my neighbours go, "Holy shit, where's she come from?" Right? Because I was always I was that little lady who sat in the corner and going, "Yes, sir. Oh, really? That's nice. Oh no," and all that lot, nice and nices. Now it's like, she didn't say that, did she? Oh, I'd have slapped her one if she'd said that to me. You know what I mean? I'd have knocked into the ish out of that fecko if she said that to me. So doing that course made me look at myself. So, and I'm not changing again for no one. Not even for my kids. So anyway, I noticed Michelle had been doing Michelle. Kylie had put up something. But I also noticed 5D as well. Like she's been doing some brilliant work. Putting some brilliant videos out there. And hold on. No. Go back. Go back, Angie. Go back. Oh, go off. Right. Hold on, I'm trying to find my. Oh, come on. Ah, it's got to be in this list. Yeah, so my cats now are now outdoor cats. They've got the nice collars on, like light up when car lights go by them, or torch or anything. It literally lights them up. But I said to my son, I said, I'll have them in by 7 p.m. every night. I'll collar on to that, Mum. They won't come home then. Yesterday, they was in about 4, and they'd gone to sleep. They then wanted to go out at 6:30. I went, no way. Curfew, 7 p.m. You're not going out now to not come back in. So no. So they stayed in then. Then today they've been out all day. They've had the bedroom window where they've been coming in and out, in and out. And then they come in and I thought, are you both in now? And it was about 6:30. And I noticed one was on my bed and one was on the sofa. So I said, that's it. Window's being shut. Boom. You're in now for the night. So let's have a look. Oh, come on. I don't really like it. Come on. Let's see what she's got to show us. Now, we just mentioned about how she lies, how they lie, okay? Because they do. And she's got one today from 2 weeks ago. Chris and Kate have the audacity to abuse and disappear. Well, we're going to watch that one as well. It's only 3 minutes, 20 seconds long. So she's done one where she says Chris and Kate hated Tony. Chris and Kate hate anyone involved in this case if they don't comply to what they want. You know what I mean? That is a problem. So but she has been putting some good ones out. So this is one we're going to listen to anyway, because we mentioned how the lying in this case. Come on. Right, hold on. God, if I was to write down all the lies they've said, I'd run out of notepads. I really would. There isn't enough. Yeah. Exactly. Be who you want to be, not whatever people want you to be. Well, that was a mistake I made. And it's like my neighbours, when I was going, my husband said, such and such has asked, how come you've changed? I've gone, I haven't changed. This has always been me. What I did do though, I did change and become the woman you knew. The woman they knew. But what I am now, this is me. You ask my family. You ask my brother, my sister. And then it's like in 2019 when I went down to Birmingham because my mum being ill. Right? My nephew come over one day and he said, told you, Mum, didn't I? I told you she'd changed. I said, I haven't changed, Pete. I said, I've always been like this, where I couldn't give a flying hoot about anything or anyone. Right? And I said, but I changed to what I thought people wanted me to be. I've just gone back to how I used to be. So I haven't changed. You've just grown up with me being like this. Right? And I said, but now, I said, I have changed in one way. He said, and they looked at me and said, because now I couldn't give a double fuck no more what anyone thinks of me. You know what I mean? And my brother-in-law said, that's the Angie I know. That's the Angie I know. So let's just share this with you. Hang on. Wait for it to come up on the... Let's just take this to there. Just get this a bit active. And then I'll put myself there. Right. So, I've got to do a credit. Credit. 5D. And put that up. Let's just change that a minute. I hate that setting. Okay. So, as I said, this is credit to 5D. She don't do really long videos, but I think the longest one I've seen of hers is what? 35, 40 minutes? And that's the longest one. If that. This is only 8 minutes, somewhere. So we're going to watch this, okay? Let's just give that a like. Because I do like her work.
Do you feel like he was ever a burden at all on you or your relationship, either one of you?
Was my stepson a burden in my marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Oh, yes, you little line out.
No.
The
burden. So
why did Katie not answer? Why are
what has always been a struggle? And anybody who's married and has, you're a step parent, okay? That struggle of being able to, yes, very much. And then you've got discipline on top of it, and what you can do, what you can't do, with because you got the other parent and this parent. That's always a struggle. When you can get on the same page with each other, and finally everybody understands it,
right?
Man, it is a beautiful picture. Beautiful. I'm saying everything's sunshine and rain.
Yeah, Chrissy Poo. When everyone falls in line with what you want them to do. A bit like Seth about getting him, saying to him, we need to get our stories together, or something like that, our stories straight. No, if I had been Seth and someone had said that to me, I'd be going, what fucking story? My son who's missing is not a story. It's true life. It's a fact. So what story? Right? So because he wouldn't get in line with what they wanted to say, they didn't like that. And that was another reason.
Rainbows, no, it's not.
Right.
but it ain't high tides and tsunamis either.
So if you and his mom ever argued, and that's in every marriage, like, would Sebastian ever jump between y'all?
Like physically?
Yeah.
No.
We don't fight and yell and scream or any of
Cool.
that, like, violent type stuff.
But yeah,
I don't
We
think
tend
either
to
one of
take it
them.
behind
Yeah,
closed
line
door
up
in our
and
bedroom and have a
love that.
conversation, because the children should never be exposed to that. That's between us, not them.
I know there were some.
Oh no, a child should never be exposed to cheating, should they, Katie? No. But okay to expose them to your mother, his gran, who's an RSO. It's all right to expose them to that, isn't it? Yeah. Wow.
Issues, like there were some personal stuff going on within the family between Katie and Chris. Seth told us, you know, that he was supposed to get full custody. One minute he says that Katie was okay with it. The next minute I'm hearing that Katie was not okay with it. I don't know their personal story. I know that neighbors are close by them heard fighting within their family outside, verbal things that were said outside. So I don't know that it was, you know, I think there were some struggles in the family. I mean, every family has issues. I get that, but I don't know. Families typically would get into that kind of a dispute outside. I mean, if I was going to have a conflict of interest between my kids and I, or my husband and I, we would be inside. I wouldn't be outside making that known. And apparently there were some situations where things were heard that weren't good.
Bobby, when did those fights occur? Do you know?
I mean, over the past, I mean, you know, I guess since they've been, like, periodically, it wasn't like a one-time thing. There were other, you know, times where things were and that kind of thing. I don't live close to them to have heard that. I mean, they would have to have screamed at each other for me to have heard that. I didn't hear it, but I know that neighbors around them have reported things that were said outside, and it wasn't like a one-time thing.
Cops ever get called?
Well, I mean, CPS was, you know, called multiple times, and I know teachers personally that still work at Beach that were told things and they had to report it. I mean, when a teacher is told, counselors and teachers are told things, they by law have to report it. And I know that absolutely. And I know that, you know, kids can be over exaggerating. I know that, especially teenagers, that kind of thing. I think for me, you know, I think my kids would be respectful enough with us that if something happened, I don't think they would go and say, like, you know, my mom is mean to me. Like, they know that's not true, and they would get in trouble for lying. So for him to make up that things that he was saying, I can't imagine him making certain things that were set up enough for CPS to be called on them. And I know they were called multiple times.
Multiple times. So when you say multiple, how many times?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not privy to that information.
Has any neighbors or anybody tell you that they've seen the CPS at their house? Like,
I don't know. They have not actually used the words "I've seen them at the house," but they've told me that there have been people that have visited an official. Like, I don't know. Like, the car that comes is not going to have CPS written on it. Yeah. I mean, it may have a government official, like, license plate or something like that, and they're not going to have they're going to have a badge on them or the front door, but it's not going to be something that a neighbor is going to see, that kind of thing. So I don't know, like, neighbors haven't said, like, I have seen this happen, because they were really paying attention. I think it was one of those things where I don't think neighbors, like, after this has happened, Some of the neighbors are going back and saying, wait a minute, this.
You see, imagine if you've had CPS called on you. And I know my neighbour, when I lived in Birmingham, she had CPS called on her. Right? And I've seen these people get out the car. Because we was out the front doing some fixing the window on the driver's side. Because it kept dropping, it wouldn't open properly, so we had to fix it. And they just looked like any Tom, Dick or Harry from down the road sort of thing. They just come with the nicely dressed, right, like a folder. Now, they could have their ID inside the folder. And then when they get to the door, show them the ID there. Some wear it around their necks on a lanyard. Some don't, they keep it in the folder. So that might be like that. They keep it in the folder. So
I do remember that, and I do remember this, and oh wow, this is connected. But when it happens over a year period of time and it's just random, but then nothing really ever comes of it, you just kind of try to stay in your own lane and mind your own business, because you're not hearing, like, I don't know that neighbors heard screaming, or like, I don't know that it was like the things that were being said outside were loud enough to make neighbors call. I don't think it was that kind of like, if a neighbor next to me, I heard a kid screaming, help me, don't, whatever, I would be calling the police. Like, okay, I'm going to go inside, I'm going to call the police and be anonymous. It wasn't that kind of a thing. It was things that were said, arguments between them, that made neighbors think, gosh,
But when you say that, are we talking Chris and Katie, or is Seth in the picture too? Is it like, were there arguments with Seth there?
I don't think Seth was ever there long enough. I think he was enough to pick for his weekend, or they would meet somewhere for his weekend or something like that. I don't think that Seth was ever there. I think it was mostly, the one neighbor told me that she heard, and I'm not going to go into a lot of whole big detail because I don't want to get into their whole personal life. It's not my place. But a neighbor had told me that there were said between, like, Chris and Katie would get into an argument, like in the driveway, and then Sebastian might come outside and Chris would raise his voice at him, either get inside or what are you doing out here, or make comments to him like that. And like I said, it wasn't like, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to beat your butt. It wasn't like such a horrible thing to make a neighbor call 911. It was just a very abrasive enough to, now that he's missing, they go back and think, oh,
So that's kind of
maybe,
like, that was the kind of what you were saying when the neighbors kind of put these pieces together after the fact.
right. You go back and look and think, oh, maybe there was something to that. I just didn't realize it.
it's always after the fact that when something goes wrong, you see things going on, and it's always after the fact of when something's happened, like that, you think, wow. It's like, I remember when I first moved into the house by me, when I lived in Birmingham, right? There's a family that lived across the road, mother, father, and I think they had two children. And they got moved out eventually because the one little boy fell out the bedroom window upstairs. Now, luckily, what broke his fall was an old mattress and sitting on top of a washing machine or fridge or something like that. That broke his fall. And it was after they moved out, I thought, you know what? We found out what their living conditions were like. I thought, I knew something wasn't right with that family. Because I remember one night I was out in the garden and these two little boys were playing outside, right? And these other kids were going, picking up stones off the street and going, here, here's a sweetie, try it. And there was, and I sogged off. So, and I said to the two little boys, spit it out now. So they did. I said, that isn't a sweetie, sweetheart, it's a stone. I said, don't ever accept anything of people you don't know. So with that, his mum come out and she said to me, and I said, I'm sorry. I said, it's just that these kids were getting your sons to eat stones, picking them up off the dirt and giving them to your sons and making out those sweets. And your sons were young enough and gullible enough to fall for it. But after they moved out, we found out like they wasn't even living in the kitchen, using the kitchen. The kitchen was in the living room. The cooking, everything was in the living room. And I thought I should have picked up on that. But you don't. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on behind anyone's doors. And that's what upsets me in a way, because I grew up, probably like you, Anne, in an era where your neighbours down the street, if you did something wrong, you knew that neighbour was going to be telling your mum. Because everyone knew everyone. All the neighbours knew every family. Right? So we couldn't get away with blue murder in our street. Because the neighbours would, oh, I saw your son or your daughter the other night. So, you know what I mean? But we don't have that no more, where people talk to the neighbours. I've got it here, where occasionally I see my neighbour and we talk either through the fence or over the fence, one of the two, right? And it's nice because you know who your neighbours are. And so I know who my the neighbours next door, they're a young couple, they're lovely. Got Richard, and I can never remember his wife's name. She works with my daughter. Then there's another woman next door to her, and everyone calls her Lee. Yeah. So and then next to Lee is Angie. So I know right up until Angie's house, the neighbours. And I know one neighbour across the road to say hello to. Right, I go stand and have conversations with them. They have the husbands come over and talking to my son once when my son was here. And that's it. The other neighbours the other two neighbours opposite me keep themselves to themselves. However, the other day when I did have to go out, and I wasn't looking my best either, the woman was coming out to go to work, I think, or whatever, and said, hello. Hello. You know what I mean? She's never said hello to me before in the 9 months that I've been here, 10 months that I've been here. And how many times have I seen her when I've walked out this house? And she's never said hello, but she said hello to me the other day. I thought, oh, that's nice, you know what I mean? But it's not where I'm going to be going. I'm going, oh, about such and such down the road or such and such up the road. It's not that sort of thing. But with my two neighbours either side, I've got some really good neighbours. So I did think I'd have a problem with Richard, because when I first moved in, he complained to my daughter, because my daughter works up in the shop and they do hot meals, breakfasts and all that lot, and lunches. And he said, oh my God, he said, that was noisy. And he'd come in for something to eat. He was at work and he's popped in for something to eat. And he said, there was noisy, weren't they, moving in over the weekend? And my daughter said, they was moving in. What do you expect them to be like mice? They was moving in. My mum was moving in on the Friday. And then on the Saturday and Sunday, Angie was moving her stuff in. Oh, well, I wasn't very well. And listening to all that racket with the kids and everything. Said, but they was moving in. And when my daughter told me, said, I think we're going to have a moment. You know what I mean? But no, he seemed really nice after that. And as I said, this gave my grandson Ellis this Batman car, and it came in a case and everything. My grandson loved it. And then the other day, he passed over this little mini van sort of thing. A little car, but it's like a mini camper van and another little car. And I said, you can share that with Ellis. And those happy as Larry, you know what I mean? That this guy, this Richard is passing him these little toys and whatever for him. And I think it's so sweet of him to do that. Yeah. There was 10 houses full of accidents. 10 houses. Well, actually, I don't need to know everyone. There's one neighbour on the corner of my son's road, the bitch. She's the one who put a complaint in to Pete, the owner of these houses, right? 3 weeks after my son had moved in. And I think what it was, one day, Alice comes screaming up the road and across the road to mine, help me, and all this crap. I'm going, what the fuck's going on? And then shortly after his mum followed, I said, Trace, just go home. I'll have a word with him. Right? It's just going to make it worse. Just you go home and calm down. I'll have a word with him. So I did. And then he went back home and he apologised to his mum and everything. Then he come over again, I think, the next day. And he come over with his dad. And as he's crossed the road, he's come running up to mine, screaming blue murder. And I looked at my son. I went, what the fuck is going on? He said, I don't know. And I come in, I said, Ellis, you can't keep doing this. You're going to get your mum and dad into trouble. You know what I mean? You can't keep doing that. And after that, he's never done it since. But I think it was that reason that she complained to Pete. And because she complained to Pete about my son and the kids, that's why Angie didn't get the house next door to my daughter. Because he said, I don't want someone moving into that house where they're going to be bringing trouble to the doors and all that lot. Like, meaning the grandkids. It's a nice quiet street. I don't want it all being broke. You get the fuck. There's neighbours up that road that are arseholes where my daughter lives. You know what I mean? So, but then Tam, he spoke to the neighbours after this incident because he didn't know nothing about it. Angie went down there to speak to Tam, said, why have I lost the house? Tam said, what are you on about? Showed him the email that Pete had sent her. So I don't know. So when he spoke to Pete, Pete was telling him, and he said, I've had no complaints from anyone about that. They've only been there 3 weeks. Right? Oh, well, such and such told me. He took the word of this one woman. So Tam went and spoke to the neighbours in his road, whose garden's back up against theirs. Right? Neighbours in their road opposite them and on the corner, at the other corner of him. And this one guy's gone, when you seen Tam come to his house, he said, what have I missed? What's happening? He said, no, nothing. He said, I just want to ask you, have you heard any shouting, loud voices, anything? He said, where from? He said, such and such. He said, I didn't even know anyone had moved in. Right? So, and this woman said, this shouting and screaming goes on from before like 7 in the morning through till 9, 10 p.m. at night. The kids aren't allowed out in the garden till at least 8 p.m., 8 a.m. in the morning. So because of that, they wouldn't let the kids out till 9 a.m. And then they was getting them in at 7 p.m., 6:30 onwards, up to 7 p.m. They was getting them in. They had a ring doorbell put on the front to capture any of when the kids are out there with the dad, when he's been working on the car, so they could get that recorded. They had a camera put in the kitchen facing the garden, which would catch all movement, all noise, everything. So that if this woman put another complaint in about them, they've got the evidence there. And Tam told Pete this, right? He said they got to the point where they don't feel they can go out in their own garden. And Pete said, I think I made a boo-boo there, didn't I? And he said, yes, you did. So because of that, Angie got offered that house, the bungalow, which I was quite thankful for. Right? But because he took the word of this one woman on the corner there, and instead of phoning or messaging other tenants, you know what I mean? Or even coming up and asking other neighbours in the street. You know, the neighbour next door, they never complained about them, and they're right next door. So her bitch over there, if I see her dog walk past my garden and go in my garden, I'm going to give her a mouthful. So it says, do you mind keeping your dog off my front garden, please? If she says it, because I watched her about 2 months ago. She walked past my neighbour's house across the road. Now, they haven't got a fence up at the front. Now, Pete don't like us having fences up along the front or between the houses. He likes the gardens to be open, which is fair enough. Right? This woman walked up on one of them extendable leads and her dog went in their garden, sniffed along the fence. I thought, go on, just poop in that garden. I'll fucking tell them who it is. I'll tell them what dog it is that's pooping in their garden. You know what I mean? But she never walks past my house on my side. She always walks. If anything, she walks on the other side all the time. But I did see a bloke the other day whose dog was in my garden. I'm going, come on, poop. Do a poop in my garden. Just do it. And he didn't. So, because I don't like fences being put up around the garden, I'm going to get a sign put up. Please keep dogs off the garden. Being polite, I'll just put with a stake. Big letters, please keep your effing dogs off my effing garden. No, just be polite. Please keep dogs off the garden. But it was ridiculous going on one person. So I wouldn't always believe what neighbours are telling people. You know what I mean in this case? Because, as I said, it's been over like 2 years they've been there. So these incidents have been happening over 2 years. Since 2022 to when he went missing. And then it's after the case, the fact that they think, oh, remember that time when we heard him screaming and he used the R word? Do you remember that time when we seen him with the hose outside? Do you remember that time when they was having this full-out argument on the driveway? It's too late then. So the child is missing. And because people were stupid enough, ignorant enough not to think of it, nothing was ever done. And I don't for 1 minute believe, I'm not that I don't, I can't for 1 minute believe that when Chris talks about that CPS worker coming and how she spoke to Sebastian on his own, well, how the fuck do you know what she said to Sebastian? Right? Because what she says to Sebastian is private. It's between her and Sebastian, not her, Sebastian, you and Katie. So was your ear wigging at the door, Chris? Or did you get Sebastian to tell you what she was asking when you come in? Did she say, okay, so what did she ask you? What did you tell her? You better not have told her anything that you shouldn't have told her. That's the sort of thing I could imagine him doing. Right, Right, there's this one here, and I'm interested to listen to this one. Because it's moving away to Maryland or whatever. But that doesn't surprise me one bit if they have. So, well, my thing is now trying to say CP resided in Maryland and KP Brisbane. So do they live in home or not? They don't live in the house, put it that way. They're not in that house. Right? Which I can't understand why they've moved out of that house. Why have they moved out of the house? There's no one going around there no more. No news reporters, no YouTubers, no TikTokers, no one. I think it was eavesdropping, or when Sebastian did come back in, he's probably said, okay, what did she ask you? What was she saying to you? You better not have said anything that you shouldn't have said. Sort of thing. That wouldn't surprise me either. So let's listen to what this one has to say.
Because if anybody has a brain and the slightest little of intelligence, you know you can't sign the rights of a minor to do something without parental consent. And like I said, I wrote their parenting plan, so it requires both parents' signature. And if he, yes, Seth Rogers, does something stupid without Katie's signature, as well as she does something stupid without his, they're both held legally in a conundrum. I still believe in co-parenting, for the record, so in case anybody's like, well, I still believe in co-parenting. Sebastian comes home, we're all three going to co-parent. I didn't say all three of us are going to have to like each other and sing Kumbaya. But we are going to have to co-parent. So we're going to have to find some neutral ground and move forward with getting Sebastian any help he.
Right, CP. I know I haven't got many people at the moment, but I will be building my channel up. I'm going to put more effort into getting my channel out there again. Right? And you know what? I still get 700 to 800 clicks on my TikToks. When every time I put anything up about you, it's like, oh, hellfire. Yep. Right? So, the thing is, CP, why did you write the parenting plan? And Seth, what the hell was you doing letting that shitface do your parenting plan? You know what I mean? This is the thing you see. Chris has ruined Seth right up until that time when Sebastian went missing. He's ruined him. And Seth isn't the argumentative type. He isn't. You can tell he isn't. So he'll just go along with whatever. But because Sebastian wasn't telling him what was going on, he didn't know. So he thought everything, yeah, okay, you're going to have these ups and downs. He's a teenager. We've all been there ourselves, and we've all had children and whatever. So we know what it's like to be a teenager, and we know what it's like to have a teenager. Alright, so, but when Sebastian went missing, that's when Seth said, no, I'm not falling in line with you like no more. I want my son back. Now, you've heard the interviews where he said, You'll all find out when the truth comes out. Well, what is the truth, Chris? What is the fucking truth? Because we'd love to know what the truth is. We will keep going back over these interviews with you and Katie, whatever. Because somewhere in them interviews is the truth. Somewhere in them interviews. And as I said, I believe this started from the Christmas before he went missing. This all started Christmas, New Year, before he went missing. And then, because Chris had to go back to court in March, because Nina went straight to the courts in January and got a restraining order or something like that against him. And you could not. And why was it Katie pulled the information? Where is it? I'll find it. It's on one of 5Gs. Well, I'll play that one as well. She requested the witnesses that was coming up in the case. Katie did.
Needs and what else we need to do for him. There are conversations that the parents will have eventually when the time comes.
Yeah.
When is that? And what do you mean by that, Chris?
When the time comes, what's supposed to happen when that time comes? You talking about maybe the end of this year, beginning of next?
When is the time going to come? December 8th, 2026, respectfully, in my opinion. Not do it right on the birthday, December 7th, but December 8th. Is that the day?
December 8th, 2026.
Allegedly.
And why couldn't you have this conversation as the parents together to begin with? Like, why couldn't you work together to bring him home? Me personally, the past is the past. That's how I look at it. I know some past can bring you trauma. I know that people can have differences. But when it comes to a child, you have to push all that to the side to work together to find that child, regardless.
Yeah.
And I don't see that here. And it's very disgusting and it's disturbing to me, in my opinion, respectfully.
We will handle our situation offline. Because nothing, it doesn't need to come up here.
I can agree with you.
And I would say this in the long run. I think when all this is over and said and done, it ain't
What ain't gonna matter? You know what I mean? What ain't gonna matter when this is all over and done with? The fact that you're crap parents. Right? Yeah. But I can't believe. But as I said, Seth was like, okay, whatever sort of person. But it's only when his son turned up missing.
Narrative versus the truth.
Were you living in Memphis?
Right? Someone across the road, okay. Right, so as I said, I think it all started before Christmas. But then it's like that 18 kept coming up. 18. When he's 18, what's going to happen when he's 18? Well, in December the 7th, 2026, he'll be 18. He'll no longer be an Amber Alert because he'll be an adult. He might be an endangered missing person, or he may not be anything. He might just be forgotten again, right? And I also think if he's going to turn up alive, it's going to be after his 18th birthday. Yeah, I believe, yeah, they did all fail him. They did, all the parents. But I also think that Seth has kicked himself enough about that. He knows he failed his son. He doesn't need us or anyone else to tell him he's failed his son. He knows he did. Right? So, after his 18th birthday, is he going to turn up alive? Yeah, possible. But where's he been for the last 3 years? Right? Has he just been wandering around? Or in February 2027, right, it'll be 3 years. In February the 26th, 2027, it'll be 3 years. In Tennessee, after 3 years and up plus, they can go to having declared dead. If there's no sign of any money being used or banks or anything. But with him, he didn't have a bank account. He only had cash given to him by his dad, right? He had an insurance policy, which Katie said Seth had. No, KP, I will pull that file up myself if I have to go through every fucking file on my laptop, right? I will find it again. It said in the divorce, all bank accounts, insurance policies, anything like that was handed over to Katie in the divorce. I don't think I agree with that, Anne. Yeah. Yeah, I think CP was manipulative enough to control Seth. But that's why they're falling out, because Seth won't do what he wants him to do no more. Seth was a yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full. A bit like I was. Right? Sat in the corner and just agreed with everyone with a nice smile on my face. Right, to the point where my jaw and my cheeks would hurt. Right? Not saying a bad word about anyone. No, it's like, hello, real. Hello, for real. Right? And that's a bit like Seth. His son has turned up missing and he's thought, you know what? I'm not having this. When they said he was going to have to go to Seth's home, could have notified work of situation and get adjusted for the child. I think that was part of the plan as well, Michelle. I think part of the plan was for Seth to get transitioned to days. You know what I mean? Because while he's at the online school, his dad would be there. Right? He'd be in bed, but his dad would be there. But then eventually, he'd be going to the main school. So his dad would have to somehow transition to working days. They signed the parenting plan now. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, it just suddenly dawned on him, like, what the fuck? I've let my son down here because I believed everything they've told me. And now the truth is coming out, and it didn't, because it wasn't a yes sir, no sir man no more. They didn't like it. Because all he wanted was his son. And they couldn't give him his son. So we're not listening to that one. Come on. Right, where is that one? Of them. Oh God. There's something I've seen. Yeah, I don't like that interview at Miss Holly. So where was I saw it? I saw something. Which oh, Chris. Yeah, there's been mention of them drugging Sebastian, his strong medicine. But I don't see, if he didn't return home, then why would they need to drug him? But if he came home that Sunday, then yeah, I could see him see her giving him extra medication, so they could he'd be asleep. They carry him out the house, whatever. But I don't think, I am getting to the point now where I don't think he did come home, because that video of him coming out, apparently putting the trash bin out. Yeah. Right. So why won't they release that video? Why don't they release that video? So allegedly, Sebastian allegedly putting the trash out. So oh no, I just want to type in something here. Let's just go to the mob crew a minute. Ah, there's the mob crew one. I'll put this one up. I should have. I'll make one again. Credit. I'll fast forward it to where we get to most. We know he was lying for them. I need to catch up with Mob Crew and watch his videos. Alright, let's just get onto this one. I just want to find out about the Maryland thing. Let's just see what they say here, what he has to say.
Yeah. But I think now more than ever, I do think there is, a chance he could be out there. Because I definitely don't think he made it home, in my opinion.
I don't think.
But hopefully,
not when you put
that
all the. It's like
you guys find that valuable. Coming from the horse.
About the neighbours putting all these things that have happened over the 2 years together after Sebastian went missing. It's like now we're putting all these little bits together about when Katie left the Texas Roadhouse, what time she got back. I believe she got back about 7 p.m, 5 to 7 p.m. In which case that gave her, and I'm being generous when I say she left that Texas Roadhouse house at 6:25. I was being generous by giving her till 6:45 to get home. Because overall, the 3 routes that she could take, on average, was about 15 minutes. Right? So I was being generous by giving her 20 minutes. But she didn't get until 7. That's an extra 15 minutes. So, and because we haven't got any, it hasn't been pinned down as to what time she got home. Because it's all with law enforcement. And we know what law enforcement are doing there. Some of their county, they're doing piss all. Right? They've got the timeline, but they're not going to release it. Because they're doing feck all, they're doing everything they can to cover up for their crony friends. Because he doesn't want to lose his nice big wage packet. So, hold on, I think I've got a bit more I can go.
That a little bit later. Let's get all the context of this van has been, because it's very, I think it's very important.
Well, we know it being all over the fucking US.
Man, that would be nice to have like some kind of whistleblowers or something.
It would be nice to have a whistleblower.
I don't know if that'll happen. But yeah. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. That's so cool.
But I just think some of your county sheriff's department are like a good old boys club. You know.
it's you never know. He could be out there again. I'm a local and we have great data. However, I'm not a fan of Crick or Carter. Do not like how they handled the case.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think we all can agree with that. All right, let's get with it. So what I'm going to be playing again is something, and of course, going to shout out Voices of Truth because they first got this Carfax of the van, and this van has been in some, has basically driving all across the country.
Yeah, we know.
Been on the West Coast,
Yeah.
and now it looks like it's been, spending time on the East Coast, which we'll get into. But let's start off on the West Coast, and let's listen to mainly Crispy, but, Katie's kind of there too, which is on, I believe, Queen Bee's channel. And this was shortly after the Truth put their first video out about showing where this one was, where they got the actual Carfax, because they actually have the proper information, right? VIN number, whatnot. And yeah.
Chris.
Mm-hmm. And so listen to how they act. And I'm going to show here in just a second. And again, this is bringing the full context of where this van has been because it gets super sus. But this is how they act when just after, like not long after they put this video out. This is how they responded. Now, keep in mind, this first report doesn't have everything that, this was one report. Then, we got a new one just recently for you guys and for this case. And, now it has a lot more with the Maryland stuff in it. It did show that, the Melanie had been.
What the hell is in her pocket there? What is that? If it's one of them things that have turn your muscles up in your thigh, love, you got the wrong one. You need a treadmill. Just saying.
In California, but also a bit in Maryland. But notice they don't ever talk about the Maryland trip, but they definitely make fun of California, which is super.
Can you ask Katie if she has my beach towel packs, please, for me to come visit her in the California?
Yes, I need. Oh yeah, Cali too. I forgot to ask.
But you're already going. I sent it to you.
That's right. That's right.
You should have hitched a ride in the van.
Well,
I'm here. I'm just keeping my mouth shut.
I'm fired. Rolling it.
Queen, are you excited?
Yes, I am coming down. I'm going to Cali and hang out with Katie for a little bit. Rumor has it.
Well, I was just going to say, the Bears.
Are you going? Are you allowed? Are you going or what? Are you allowed?
I don't know. I
think we're supposed to keep it a secret from Lollies. So
I think it's an
They're
all girls
separated.
trip.
She's not letting him go.
Oh, she broke up. Fuck! I forgot about that. Oh, fuck.
Oh, sorry guys. Sometimes Nightbot deletes things. I think the weight thing. Yeah, just be careful with the weight. Try not to be too.
I guess I'm on the market now. What's up?
Yeah, she's open market. Katie's gonna kick our ass.
And y'all were supposed to jump in the van.
But as you can see, so June of last year, they started. So it was seen, the van was kind of shown that, when she had gotten it. Let me back it up here. As we can see, it had been in Tennessee. Looks like she was just kind of doing her usual thing, working probably around in Sumner County or Hendersonville. Is it? Oh God, I butchered that again. I'm just gonna say in that area. I forget how you pronounce that. But as you can see, you know, it was kind of normal for 2025 early, and it was kind of in 2004 as
I'm
well.
here. I'm just keeping my mouth shut.
I'm fine.
But then summer of last year, 2025, then all of a sudden, the van hits over to Cali.
Queen, are you excited?
Yes, I am. I'm going to Cali and hang out with Katie for a little bit. Rumor has it.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, the best.
Are you going? Are you allowed? Are you going? Or what? Are you allowed?
I don't know.
I think we're supposed to keep it a secret from Lollies. So
I think it's an
They're
all girls trip,
separated.
honestly.
She let him go.
Oh, she fuck. I forgot about fuck.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the market now. What's up?
Yeah, I'm saying no shit. Open market.
I'm not.
Katie's gonna kick our ass.
I'm not.
Antioch, yeah. God, man, that anti, you know.
It annoys me when I listen to anything of these other channels. There's a missing boy here. A missing boy. He's been missing for 2.5 years now. None of him, no trace of him, nothing. And now on these shows, and for 12 years, they've had ample opportunity when they've been on these YouTube channels to talk about Sebastian, to put a plea out there. If anyone has seen my son, be it in California, in wherever, I mean, but they don't. They make a joke about what, because people have done a background checks on her vehicle. Now, if you just saw that piece, that writing that was up on the screen then, you know so many times and how close those services were for that maintenance of that van. She had 2 done in the March. 2 done. 2 services on that van in March. So did it not pass the first one? And so then it's had to go in for some more major repairs. Oh, it makes me laugh because normally when you get a service done on a car, they do the whole lot. If there's something need repairing, they do it the first time round, unless they haven't got the part in. But then you won't be giving your van back. They keep the van or the vehicle there until the part comes in so they can fix it. So why was 2 services done in the March? In fact, that they're just taking a piss makes me sick.
And you see, you gotta love English. But thank you, you criminal. Appreciate it. But as you can see, they're making fun of it, and I know we kind of went over this yesterday. This report that they had was the truth. They also showed that the van had been in marijuana from their report.
Pleasure. See, the 63rd. Oh no, that was the second, sorry. 2025. the 2nd of September 2nd, 2025. I know, I misread the dates, sorry. Now, what's that's up by New York way? What do we have up New York? Someone remember what's up New York? Oh, yeah. A lot of the ARC centres, be it a community centre or a place where they live or something like that. There's lots of them around New York way. A lot. So I really got to get back onto my maps and update my maps again, because remember I lost it all around to updating them all properly, but I need to do it. But round here by New York, the ARC centres. There's some, I don't know if there's any, I can't remember if there's any over this way. But I don't understand why they went from where they live all the way over to California, wherever, and then down to Al Cajon, and they had the car serviced at this one place, down to Al Cajon, all the way over here, right, where they're passing through different areas, states and whatever, and there's Cincinnati, is that this, where this zoo was, that there was a sighting there, allegedly. We know that one, we've seen it in the zoo. So, and just live around this way somewhere. BFF live around this way. So, I'm not going to go over that because I'd rather watch this myself, mark it all down, and then put it down on my own maps, you know what I mean? So, have they moved? Yes, they have moved. They can laugh and joke about it and make a big hoo-ha. We know you've moved, you piece of trollops. Right? So, sorry. Come on. Give me my channel. For God's sake. So, I've got with Kylie. She said she sent me an email. I was checking my emails today. Couldn't find nothing from her. Find the email she was on about. Said, you need to look at this. I can't find it. So, Kylie, if you're watching this on replay, I couldn't find me. So if you could send it me again, please, at crimeandjustice66@gmail.com. I'd really appreciate that because I've looked at my emails. I looked at it on my phone first. And I thought, hold on, I can't find it here. So I went on my laptop, opened up my Gmail, couldn't find it there. So I thought, okay. So we're going to listen. Oh, God, I'm going to this. Something about clues for Sebastian Wayne J. Rogers. This is credit to Kylie. Kylie's nail candy. When my thing opens up. So right, I'm downloading that video, you see, so I can watch it later. Oh, God. Now, this is Kylie's nail candy, and it's something to do with Sebastian and the clues. I'll get that off. She's running. Why isn't it going? Why isn't it working? Hold on. Hold on, if I have to, I'll do it on my phone. Oh, my phone. YouTube. I'll do it over my phone because for some reason I'm not getting it all on here. So, downloads. Yeah. This that's the one I want. Oh well. Where isn't it going? I don't know why this isn't going. Oh, I'm getting another one.
Mystery.
I'm not keen on this one. She's doing this app.
No.
We'll try it anyway, okay? Hold on. It seems to be long spaces of quietness for some reason. Come on.
Unknown.
I'm not keen on this one. Let's go out this one. Come on. Come on. Let's go.
Yes.
Long pauses between each one. Just this up a minute.
Yes.
No, I'm not keen on this one. I'll find another one. Because this one is too long a pauses between them. So,
Yes.
it's like you're sending a text message and it's just replying to the text message, yes, whatever.
Correct.
Let's find something which we haven't seen. I haven't seen many of those lately. Right, we've got this one. This is from 4 months ago, and I haven't seen this one. Why haven't I seen this one?
Family.
Right. Stop there. Oh. Sorry about that, everyone. Come on, restream.
Burn.
To this one is time is up, Mum.
Nation. Shall.
Sorry.
Value. Contain. Meat. Eight. Spring. Alejandra. Cook.
Let's do it. Is that what I heard?
Push.
Let's do it.
Consider.
But you know what else? I don't really care about clean CP, where they're living. Right? Unless it's in an area that is of interest to me. Right? Now, if they was to move up and say live up in, I don't know, somewhere around by New York way, that would be an interest to me. But I don't think they are. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm not interested. All I'm interested in is trying to find Sebastian and getting the truth. And we're not going to get that from either of their parents. It's simply their handlers.
Alice.
Ellis, my grandson. Where's Ellis? Ellis.
Law. Float.
If they're only going to have a laugh and just trying to track them down where they're going, I don't care. Because whatever they do and say is never going to be true. They're leading us on a little merry-go-round here.
Village. Cook.
Cock. Well, we know Katie don't cook unless it's a fun fact, and she cooks breakfast for her son. She's probably one of these women that has the meals all cooked for her, and she pays for it and has it delivered to the house, so then she can set it all up on the plates and make it out to be that she cooked it all. Films. That's that place where there was Lot 43, I think it is. Village Hills is that RV place where they live, where you can live permanently, you know what I mean? Plonk your RV on there, pay for your lot. Village Hills is that.
Gemma.
Their BFF's friend's name.
Happy.
Steve Crabtree. Yeah, he's happy. He's on his happy pills.
Baby.
Catty Barasocks, baby.
Yard. Single. Straight. Crease.
I don't think Chris Carr's got anything to do with this.
Cool.
Just throwing names out there at the moment, see what the reaction will be. What the answer's going to be. Eric Craddock. Oh, yeah, piece of shit.
Design. Only. Exact.
Sheriff Craig helped Chris and Katie, and the reply was exact.
Trip.
He knew this. He knew this.
Trump.
The law enforcement were hiding, covering up for Chris and Katie.
Captain.
Ooh. Katie Playful, question mark, Captain. Yeah, because think about it. She's the one who first got this all in motion. Right? Because he gave her an ultimatum, didn't he? The neighbours heard him say, it's either you, me, or Sebastian. So, but perhaps she was saying that she didn't want Sebastian going to his dad's, and that's when Chris turned around and said, well, it's either me or Sebastian. Perhaps he was putting up a fight to have Sebastian go to his dad's, and it was Chris that was pushing her to have Sebastian go to his dad's. But instead of sending him to his dad's, she got some other motion in plan. You know what I mean? Perhaps he doesn't realise that. Well, he does now, but perhaps she was the one who organised it all in the first place, had this plan put in place. And that 3-hour call. Why? Because if you remember that one psychic, she said Sebastian said they lied to him. They said he was going to his dad's. They lied to him. That's why now, when you think of what the psychics say, and I do trust a lot of these psychics, I really do. And then you think about the route she home and the time it took it to get home, and the fact they won't release any videos, the fact that law enforcement didn't even call in all the outside help they could have. Even the parents. We won't stop till we won't stop looking till we find. Well, Katie, you got to get off your fat ass and start looking first to be able to stop. How can you stop looking for something when you've never fucking looked? Like his dad. He can stop, but he won't. Yes, he's gone back to work. Yes, a lot of it is now being done by dog and at night and all that lot. But he still chases the police. If anyone sends him a lead, he chases it up. But I think he needs someone on his side again. His little mate, hasn't he? He's got no one now to turn to who he can actually sit and have a conversation with on the phone or even text message or anything. He's got no one to turn to no more. Trump, yep.
Cool. No response. Scale.
Is it an act from Seth Rogers? I don't think it is. When you look at Seth and we look at Kate, put it out on another YouTube I watched a while ago. Who's having the sleepless nights? Who's having the nights where they're not sleeping? The restless nights at Seth and Katie. I'd say it's Seth. He's got the flipping bags under his eyes, not Katie. She's getting a good night's sleep. She don't care about anyone apart from protecting her lover boy, who's a piece of shit. I think I'm going to over in the jar.
Surprise.
Acting.
Bottom. Cloud. Row.
We know he didn't like the fact that his dad smoked. We know that, so Seth smokes shit. You know what I mean? I don't think he smokes the wacky tobacco. I really don't. He'd lose his job if he did.
Iron.
Iron.
Straight. Quiet. Treble.
I still think Sebastian is close, either in that house or close to it. I really do. Could he be up in that area by that pond where we saw that like house with the horses? Could he be around that area? But I really do believe he's close to home. Right, so I've been on here 2 hours, 20-something minutes. So I will put the link to this in the description when I upload it tomorrow. And so if you want to watch this yourself, please do. Go over to Kylie's Nail Candy and watch it there. Leave her a comment, like her video. Because I don't think it's the fact that one thing that Chris said is bugging me. You'll find out when the truth comes out. You'll find out. Yeah, I think it's close to home. And could that be the reason why they've moved out the area? Because he is so close to home. She don't like living there no more. In that area. Because I don't understand. Why, as a mother, would you not search for your son? It's 2.5 years now. You only say anything about your son when you do like your yearly interviews, and only then because you're prompted to say certain things. You know what I mean? She's prompted. That's why I don't like that Holly interviewer, one who just she prompts them. A good interviewer don't prompt. If they don't say anything, and you have that silence, then leave the silence. Go on to another question. Don't prompt them to answer that question. Because silence is an answer on its own. No, I don't think she ever bonded with him as a mother. No, I don't. So, it's... I just can't get it over my head. Why would Chris say you'll all be... Something like, you'll all be surprised when the truth comes out. Well, what is the truth, Chris? We've been asking this for 2.5 years now. What is the truth? Why don't you tell us? Right? Yeah, she ran to Navy, left him with his dad, yeah. I don't think he was a baby. Well, he's a young one, but I don't think he was a baby when she joined the Navy. I think he's maybe about 18 months maybe when she joined the Navy. But that's still young. I don't think she wanted a child. I really don't think she wanted children. You know what I mean? So, I just don't understand when they say these certain things, and then you got a mother who only talks about her son when she's prompted to. And she won't answer the hard questions. And it gets me so mad all the time when I think about Sebastian. Where could he be? Is he with someone? Is he still alive? Is he being held captive somewhere? Is he going to be released once he's 18 and just dumped off in the middle of nowhere somewhere? And then, oh, look who we found here, Sebastian. Well, where you been for 3 years? And do they really believe that if he was to come home alive, which I hope he is, right, prove me wrong, I hope he is, then do you really think when he's 18, they can't force him to go back to his mum and stepdad's? Right? And B, even if he wasn't 18, say they found him alive now, he wouldn't be going back to his mum's. He wouldn't even be going to his dad's. Because they'd want to know, A, where he been. B, why did he run away? Right? They'd want to know all that. Where he's been and why he ran away. Why he's not made contact in 3 years, 2.5 years. Yeah. Yeah, it is a crucial time, 18 months is a very... Any age of a child from birth upwards is a crucial time for bonding with a child. You know what I mean? Because they look at the parent, the mum, as their protector. They look at the father as their protector. Because that's what you do as a mother or a father. You protect your child. Doesn't matter how old your child is. Like mine is 35 and 33. But God, anyone goes for my kids, I will protect them. So it doesn't matter how old they are. You're there as their protector. That is your job, to protect your kids. My parents always protected me. If they knew something was going on, then they was there for me. If I didn't disclose everything, then they couldn't do everything, could they? Because I didn't tell them everything. They could only act on what I told them or what I let them know. But we know why law enforcement aren't doing nothing. We know that. We know that now. So it's not even pointless talking about them because they just get me so mad. We need a whistleblower. And the fact that with the money reward, we've always said it's an inside job. They've kept it in the family. Because if anyone from outside the family had been involved, that money would have been clink, 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 clink up in their little heads. What can I do with that money? I could leave and make a new life somewhere. You know what I mean? But it's not, it's in the family. So that's why I'm not going to get anyone talking about this case. Unless someone says something on a deathbed, or we have a whistleblower from law enforcement, then this case ain't going to move on. I think what Seth needs to do is get this case transferred from Sumner County to another county. And you can do that. You can fight to have that done. Get it transferred from Sumner County because it's a conflict of interest. We know that. We've known it from day one. There's been a conflict of interest from day one with Eric Craddock. Right? He was the one running the show from day one. Not Sonny. Oh no, Sonny didn't know half of what was going on. He only knew what he was told. Yet he was the sheriff, the head honcho. Yet he didn't know what was going on. So tomorrow we'll have a look at the maps again, at the areas of interest that I think are interest. So I'll do some work on my maps to update it a bit more. And we'll have a look at the maps because there's got to be something in them areas. If it's close home by home, where could it be? So that's where we're going to focus tomorrow. Where could it be? We'll look at the maps and see what there is in them areas. Really look and see what is in them areas. Not just, oh look, there's a cabin there. Oh look, there's a river there. No, we will look. I will pull up all the old videos of Silver's on the Scene when he's going down the creek. I'll pull all them up if need be. We'll look at some of them. because he's somewhere around there. Yes, Michelle, I agree with you totally with that. If you allow your child to be put in harm's way, even if you do nothing, you are as guilty as the one who did it. Yes. And she has constantly put her son in harm's way. Constantly. So, tomorrow we will look at the maps again and the areas around there because I think he's got to be at home. He's got to be. Got to be near home. Right? Because why have they moved out of that house now? Doesn't make sense. There's no YouTubers going up that way no more. There hasn't been for over a year. No one's been going up by their home for over a year. Right? Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Seth is just as much to blame. Because he's the one who was oh, well, yeah, he's fine. They're telling me everything's okay, blah, blah, blah. Right? Sebastian wasn't telling him the truth about what was going on at home. But he should have been a bit firmer with Sebastian and said, look, Sebastian, what is it you don't want to go home for? Why? And if he said, oh, they're always shouting at me, so, but why are they always shouting at you? How are they? What do you mean they are always shouting at you? Why? You should have questioned him more. Pushed him on it a bit more. You know what I mean? So yes, Seth is to blame as well because he should have pushed his son more instead of just taking it for granted that everything was fine. Well, he obviously knew everything wasn't fine because why would they want Sebastian to come and live with him in the first place if everything was fine at home? So there's a big red flag for Seth. He should have picked up on that. Why do you want him to come and live with me so urgently? What's the rush for him to come and live with me? That was a big red flag to me as a parent. If I'd been in KP's and Seth's position, Kate and Seth's position, and Seth had the children, had the kids, right? But then said to me, look, I need you to take the kids. Yeah, okay. Let me sort it out. Let me sort the schools out for them and all this lot, and then we'll take them. No, I need you to take him now. Why? What's wrong? What's the problem? Right? That should have been a red flag when they was pushing to get him take Sebastian sooner. Yeah. But he should have acted on it then. He should have acted on it. Yeah, use Sebastian's behaviour against him. Yeah. But that would have been a big red flag to me if my husband had said, look, I need you to take the kids now. I've been going, why? What are the kids doing so bad that you need me to take them now? You know what I mean? Yeah, he could have took holiday, just time off work. You know what I mean? I've got time off work. I've got a family situation. My son's coming to live with me. Things aren't right with his mum, so he's coming to live with me. Blah blah blah. I need to get my jobs, my hours sorted out. I need to get his school sorted out. He could have took time off work. I I think they lied as well. I don't think there's making out that Sebastian there was having problems with Sebastian at school. Not at home. At school. Right? But he did nothing. I agree, Michelle. I do agree. But I think Seth has kicked himself and punched himself, bashed his head constant since now because he's believed their lies. And then when his son came up missing, it's like, after the fact, it's like, they was telling me everything was fine. But everything wasn't fine. Where's my son? You know what I mean? Oh, well, he was happy on this photo on the Saturday, which I don't believe was took on the Saturday, because you look at that photo from the Saturday and look at him on the Sunday in the video, 2 different ages. The age difference. Right? And he said, that was yesterday. I don't care about that. Where's my son? I've been going, where's my fucking son, you lot? I'd have had his by the screw out of the neck, pinned up the one, going, where's my fucking son? I really would have. Yeah. I really would have had her pinned up the wall by the screw out of the neck. The police would have had to drag me off her if I'd have been the father. So, I don't think Seth knew now is Seth thing, or over 2 was bound. I think Seth was, as I said, like the easygoing, laid back sort of guy. He's not the argumentative type. And unless he's cornered, unless he's pushed into a corner, then he'll come out fighting. And by his son going missing, they pushed him into a corner. Where's my son? That's all I care about is my son. Where is he? They're not telling him. They're not telling him why his son would just get up and walk out the house in the middle of the night. What was happening at home for him to do that? They wasn't telling him. So, Seth isn't that yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, no more. And that is why Chris is not liking. Because Seth won't fall in line with what he wanted. And that's why they fell out as well. Not just because of the GoFundMe. It's a fact that Seth wouldn't get the story straight. Now, when there's a missing child, there is no story to be said. There's a missing child. That's the fact. All we want to know is what happened for him to walk out of that house. Boom. What happened? There's no story to be talked about. Just the facts. What happened for my son to walk out of that house in the middle of the night with no shoes on? He's got an allergy to grass, so he wouldn't walk across grass because he'd have no shoes on. So he's going to stick to the roadways where that camera on the 1001 Stafford Court would have picked him up because he'd have been walking on the road, not on the grass, because he had no shoes on, allegedly. That camera, that light would have picked him up, would have triggered, the camera would have picked him up, would have seen him. A bit like, you know, that man walking his dog, and that ring doorbell caught that man walking his dog. It would have been a bit like that. So you would have seen some movement on that camera if Sebastian had walked out that house, because he would not have gone out barefoot. If he'd gone out barefoot, he would not have been walking on grass. He'd have been walking on the roadway because he's got an allergy to grass. So, if anyone has any information they'd like to share with me, please do so. crimeandjustice66@gmail.com. Hang on, I'll put it up on the screen. There it is. Right. Anyone got any information they'd like to share on this case, please email me. I'll check it out. I'll do my own research thing on it. And can't blame law enforcement fully. Yeah, I can. Because law enforcement should have shut that house down. You out, get your dogs out, get everyone out. This house is being closed down. Boom, out now. That first officer should have taped that house off. It should have been treated as not as a missing person. It should have been, something's not right here. Let's tick off the boxes so that we can work our way down. And if it turns out to be a runaway, then it's a runaway. But let's tick off these boxes first. But that house wasn't cleared. That's where law enforcement failed. They didn't bring in all the necessary organisations that they could have. I can't remember the name of it. I did write it down. I'll have to find my own book out, one of my first books I had on this case, and go through it. But there's an organisation that Seth did send the details through to them about Sebastian. However, they wouldn't get involved unless law enforcement got in touch with them. They had all Sebastian's details, so just wait for law enforcement to contact them. They didn't. The marshals, all law enforcement had to do was sign a piece of paper. They didn't. So now the marshals won't be coming in. They didn't go and do any of these alleged sightings of possible Sebastian. Not one of them. They didn't go up to Grandfather's Mountain. They've got law enforcement up there to go and get the information, which makes sense. You know what I mean? And then send the information to them. That's fair enough. But that one in Bristol, Virginia, they didn't even phone them up to inquire about that sighting. Not even a phone call. Because when Chris and Seth went up there, Seth and Tony went up there, sorry, law enforcement said they knew nothing about Sebastian being missing. So that told them, law enforcement, who knew about it, because a woman had told law enforcement about it, that told Seth and Tony that the law enforcement hadn't even made a phone call to Virginia, Bristol, Virginia. Not even a phone call. But yeah, I hold law enforcement to blame on this for a lot. But the parents don't help when they're lying. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for being here, Michelle. Really do appreciate it. Thank you, Anne, again. And I will see you all on the next one. Which will be tomorrow night. Right, now I've got my energy built back up a bit more. Right. And we will look at the maps and the areas of interest around where they live. Right, and I'll pull up some old clips from Silvers. So until then, stay safe, everyone, and thank you all again for being here. Good night.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and
do, so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.